Thank you so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here with me. Tonight, I'd like to speak to you on a topic that has become very recently near and dear to my heart, something that has begun to plague our society, and there has been so many needless deaths come out of this. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you about minimizing distractions while driving. Through the magic of the green screen, when I snap my fingers, we're going to go to a scene of an accident. As you can see here, this is a scene of a fatal car accident, of what is left of a smart car and a semi-truck. No, the semi-truck driver did not fall asleep at the wheel. Unfortunately, the driver who passed away in the accident was texting while driving and was not paying attention and swerved right in front of a semi-truck, and a front-end collision occurred. Thousands of people every year die from these needless distractions. According to the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, or the NHTSA, their website, a distraction is anything that diverts the driver's attention from the primary tasks of navigating the vehicle and responding to critical events. The NHTSA puts these type of distractions into three categories. It's not just about texting. There's all kinds of distractions. Let's talk about them. First is visual distraction. And then there's cognitive distraction. And finally, there's manual distraction. The NHTSA also says that distracted driving is the #1 cause of car crashes. And with a little consideration, this could be greatly avoided. According to distraction.gov, which is a subsidiary of the NHTSA, in 2009, which is the latest report that they have, 5,474 people were killed in car crashes from being distracted. Tonight, I'd like to address these three types of distractions and how we can be proactive to avoid and to minimize being distracted. Let's start with visual distraction. Visual distractions are tasks that require the driver to look away from the road to visually obtain information. You may say, what does that mean? When you look at a billboard, that's being visually distracted. When you look down at your radio to turn your radio station, that's being visually distracted. And most recently, when you're trying to manipulate and change your GPS, that's being visually distracted. But these are so easy to avoid. When you want to change your radio station, hopefully you have a vehicle equipped that you can have a preset right on your steering wheel where you can change it without even looking away. Or your GPS, if you must change it while driving, pull over. It's so much easier to be safe than sorry. Another visual distraction is looking at passengers to interact with them, and looking too long at billboards, they also divert your attention. As difficult as it may be to break the habit, as it is for me, to look at passengers while talking to them, we are much safer avoiding it. And most recently, looking at cell phones and texting have become increasingly dangerous for everybody, for drivers all over the road. Texting while driving is now outlawed in most states, as it is here in Tennessee. Not only is there visual distractions, there's cognitive distractions. Cognitive distractions are the mental workload that the driver thinks about other than driving. Cognitive distractions can go with visual distractions because you have to think about and process what you're looking at. So while you're talking on the phone, you're thinking about and processing what the other person is saying. It's natural. The bigger danger here is when you combine the visual and cognitive distractions. The more you do at one time, the longer you are distracted, the more dangerous the outcome. For example, if you're driving down the road, I've seen this so many times, people driving down the road, they're talking on their cell phone with one arm or one shoulder, and they're smoking a cigarette in the other hand. Tell me that is not dangerous. The last category of distraction is manual distractions. Manual distractions are anything that requires you to take your hand or hands off the steering wheel. Taking your cell phone out of your pocket, that's something I do quite frequently. It requires me to take my hand off of the steering wheel. Or reaching for a cup holder to get my cup. Or changing the radio station requires me to reach and to take my hands off the steering wheel. Or since I'm a new parent, I hear my child screaming in the background. I want to reach around to get his pacifier and put it back in his mouth. All of these are dangerous. Like I said, it's so prevalent in our society, we don't even know it. But they're distractions, and they're so dangerous. But as bad as all of these distractions are individually, the most dangerous one is yet to come. The most dangerous distraction is the combination of all three, which is multitasking. According to California's DMV website, they tell us that the quantity plus the duration that we are multitasking greatly increases our risk of crashing. Look at this example here to see the top 5 driver distractions that result in a crash. The first one is dialing a phone. The second one is applying makeup. Number 3 is looking at an external object. The second one is insects in the vehicle. And the number 1 is reaching for a moving object. Think about people who are talking on the phone while doing their makeup and holding a cigarette between their fingers. That's super multitasking. And that spells disaster, but there's people that do it every day, and we've seen them. The Edgar Snyder Law Firm website has posted that in 2008, at any given time during any day, there are 800,000 people texting while driving. Texting while driving is a combination of all 3 distractions. First of all, you have to look at your phone to type. That's the visual. The cognitive is you have to think about what you're typing. And the manual is you have to take your hands off the wheel to physically type the message. That's why it's one of the most dangerous distractions that is coming into our society. And the Nationwide Insurance Company tells us that the demographic most responsible for distracted driving wrecks is the 16 to 20 age bracket. I know most of you here are parents, and some of you are parents of teenagers, and it really is the parents' responsibility to teach the importance of safe driving habits. But you may ask yourself, how can I teach them it's important? The best way is by example. If you, the parent, can develop safe driving habits that will show your teenager the importance of safe driving, and maybe they'll just pick it up. And for all drivers, we can easily be distracted. I want to highly encourage you to take action, be proactive, and change your driving habits no matter how hard it may be. We must start somewhere. And there are over 5,000 deaths per year in America that can be preventable. Sure, this number is not as high as those dying from some incurable disease, but these are 5,000 plus senseless deaths that with a little consideration could almost be entirely avoided. But we can never really understand the danger until it hits home. And I sincerely hope that none of us are ever responsible for this type of senseless death. Be proactive. Start now. Thank you. Here's my audience.